Hey nature photographers, it's Lee Hoy. I'm coming to you right now from Belgrade, Montana, and yet, you got it, another hotel room. Seems like that's where a lot of my life is spent, isn't it, when I'm out doing my workshops. I'm in between my first and second of my Yellowstone and winter photography workshops. I just finished up the OM system only workshop, which was awesome. We had some great subjects, some really interesting light, had a lot of fun. Starting another one with one of my favorite friends. I mean, she is brilliant, an incredible photographer, and that's Lisa Langell. She's flying in from Denver right now as I speak. Looking forward to having some time with her and some awesome clients. We'll be on the snow coach for a few days, going out of west. We'll drive over to Gardner and do Lamar Valley. Been having some really nice foxes, some frosty bisons. It got down to minus 34 on the first workshop, but on this second one, we're supposed to have more snow and warmer temperatures. Who knows? We'll see. I have not had a chance to follow up on a lot of comments yet. I've been very busy with the workshop, but I know a lot of y'all are hoping to win an hour free class. So many of you have responded. I'm actually going to give away 2 1-hour free classes, just as a way of saying thank you. I haven't even looked to see yet. I haven't had time to see if I've hit 5,000 subscribers, but I've got a list of all the folks in my social media who followed me on Instagram or Facebook or said they already did and commented on the video. So stay tuned. I will be announcing the winners once I hit 5,000 subscribers. So thank you very much. I want to talk today about 4 tips for photographing snowy wildlife images. Stay tuned.
Howdy from West Texas. I'm Lee Hoy, professional nature photographer, and this is my YouTube channel, Lee Hoy Photography. I'm an OM System Ambassador, photography workshop instructor for Wildside Nature Tours and Precision Camera and Video, and contributing author for the Journal of Wildlife Photography.
Well, having spent the past week here in Yellowstone National Park in winter, I thought it would be very beneficial if I sat down and shared with you some tips about photographing wildlife in snow. There's so many different aspects of what it's like photographing in snow, and there's a lot of things you have to keep track of. You know, we demonstrated a lot of fieldcraft. This past workshop, I had Kyle Moonman, I believe 04, on social media, and he shoots OM system gear as well. And we did a lot of demonstrating and teaching people how to get good fieldcraft when you're doing wildlife photography. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but let's jump right in with the 4 tips for snowy wildlife photography. Number 1, so this past trip we had multiple days when the sun was bright. So you got bright snow, bright light, and here's my tip. Tip number 1, when the sun is bright, think black and white. So, like if you have bison on a snowy scene with super bright sun, you're going to have a lot of contrast. The dynamic range will be very big on that image. And black and white is often best suited to texture, mood, emotion, contrast, a lot of those kind of elements. And I know before I press the shutter button if I'm thinking about black and white on an image. So when that sun is out and it's later in the morning, you know, it's not early in the day or late in the day. When the sun is bright, think black and white. You can capture some really beautiful black and white images of, you know, frosty bison, coyote, all different kinds of subjects. Landscape, you know, I know this video is about wildlife, but the same thing applies when you are really trying to capture some powerful images. And you know, if you spend a lot of money to come up on a workshop, we're not going to stop photographing just because the sun is bright, but you do want to shift how you think about it. So, tip number 2, backlighting and side light is really going to ratchet up how visually compelling your images are. Many of you are naturalists or birders, or you're very into wildlife, and so maybe you look at a lot of field guides and you see a lot of front lit images of wildlife that include the whole body. Well, backlighting and side lighting are going to give you much more visually dramatic images, and hence the more dramatic your images are, generally the more visually compelling. So I want to do a video at some point about moving away from field guide photography, but I want you to think about, a lot of times it's easy for clients to always think we need to put the sun at our back, but no, if you want good, dramatic, visually compelling images, you often don't want that. We shot backlit trumpeter swans as they were bathing, and you see as their wings come forward, they were flinging ice or water or snow. We had backlit bison, some beautiful frosty backlit bison. I love getting backlit coyotes hunting, and I love side lighting, raking light as it comes across the pelt or the plumage of a bird, right? It gives dimensionality to your subject. Front lighting can be pretty, but if you look through a lot of contest winning shots, a lot of them are not just simple front lit, full body images. It's action, backlighting, side lighting, dramatic, moody. So when you're in a snowy scene, backlight and side lighting is really going to ratchet up the visual compelling images in your portfolio. The third tip for photographing snowy wildlife is make sure you dress for working in deep snow, laying on the ice or snow, walking in small amounts of water. You don't want your feet to get wet and cold. You don't want to lay in the snow and when you stand up have a coat or pants full of snow. So the more you layer, the more things overlap. I don't want to have to think twice about whether I'm going into hip deep snow. I don't want to think twice about whether or not I can lay down at the edge of a stream for an American dipper. I don't want to think twice about, believe it or not, the rarest animal we had the first trip was a raccoon. A raccoon in Yellowstone is less likely than a mountain lion. So of course I photographed it, and here you'll see an image that one of my clients took of me while I walked out to capture this raccoon. And it was in a beautiful scene. Everybody's like, oh, raccoon, but you think about it, most raccoons are in ugly urban settings, they're at night. You know, you don't always see a lot of great, pretty images, and I loved this scene with this raccoon. So I was crawling down low so that the raccoon didn't see me, and so I'm having to go through the snow, and it was 27 degrees. We had been at minus 34, so you notice I'm not wearing a beanie, I'm not wearing my outer coat, but with the layers I had on, I could still be low in the snow, no problem. So dress for success when it comes to winter wildlife photography. You want to be able to lay down in the snow and stand up and just brush that snow off. You don't want snow getting in your boot. You don't want snow getting in your pants. You don't want snow getting in your jacket. You know, you want to be able to focus on your photography, not focus on how cold or wet or damp or miserable you are. Okay? So tip number 4 for wildlife snowy photography. Think proactively, not reactively. A lot of times when we're driving along in a snow coach or in the Lamar Valley in the Wild Side transit van, we see something clients of me thought is just stop now. But what I'm often looking at is what direction is that coyote heading? Where is the best spot to photograph it? If a moose is foraging, is it likely to get out of the willows or is it just going to stay in there? If we've got foxes in an area together, where is the best place to capture an image? You might want to just hop out and start shooting, but no, if a fox is laying down and you settle down low, but you're in the wrong position, when you go to get up, you might disturb it. So it's better to think proactively, where am I going to capture the best image based on the light direction, based on action, based on the posture? Like, is this animal actively hunting or is it grooming? Is it preening? It's likely to stay longer if it's grooming, preening, eating, sleeping, right? So if you see something run across the road, that doesn't mean you want to jump out and get out right there. It means, okay, is there another road I can take to get in a better position to photograph that subject? People get very excited when we see things, and rightfully so. I'm very excitable. I'm like a grown-ass child in a way in terms of my excitability, right? So I want you to learn to keep your excitement in check. I want you to experience it fully, but I don't want your excitement to overwhelm your ability to think about good field craft, to think about positioning, lighting, where do you want to put the subject. You know, we had a couple of big bison bulls, and this particular group could actually walk down a pretty good steep slope, get low, you know, maintain our 25-yard distance, but get low enough where the camera was actually below the snow shooting up at the bison. And the angle you aren't able to get a lot. So, you know, we had to maintain good field craft. We had to maintain safety. Whereas a lot of people would just shoot from the road down, but by able to get down low, it really dramatically improved the images. So, learning to think proactively, not reactively, is going to put you in position for better visually compelling images. I'm not worried about documentary shots. I don't shoot documentary shots normally unless it's something I need to send to a scientist or, you know, for a record for something, which I still often don't do it then. I mean, I got out and photographed the raccoon, not for a record for Yellowstone, but because I wanted some visually compelling images of a raccoon. So if you can shift your mindset from reacting to what you see to proactively planning your image, your snowy wildlife images that are visually compelling are going to skyrocket. So I hope that was helpful. Those are some things I was thinking about while I was out in the field this past week. As we head down, now we're forecasted to get a lot of snow, so it should be a very different environment, and we'll see what next week's video holds. If you're an OM system photographer, I want to say thank you for being a part of this online community. If you shoot any other camera brand, I'm so happy you're here. I hope that you realize that most of my videos are not just about equipment, and that I'm here to really teach you how to improve your nature photography. If you've not looked into my workshops, go to my LeeHoyPhotography.com website. Go to WildsideNatureTours.com. Check out my tours. I'll be posting some classes and special events at Precision Camera and Video in Austin and Houston, Texas. Thanks for being a part. You really, your comments, your encouragement, they make doing this so worth it. Get out there, go capture some visually compelling images. We'll see you next time.